Hey guys, welcome to RankingRecording.com. What I want to talk about today is the analog versus digital debate. There's a lot of videos up on YouTube that I see all the time where people are saying analog's better, digital's better, but it doesn't really seem like anybody knows what the difference is. And what this video is going to be about is not whether analog is better or digital is better. They both have their advantages, they both have their disadvantages, and everybody knows that digital technology has improved a lot over the past 15 years or so. So this is going to be a four-part video. There's going to be analog recording, digital recording, analog processing, and digital processing. And I think people kind of neglect that there's those two different parts of it. It's either analog is better, digital is better. Nobody talks about analog recording versus digital recording and analog processing versus digital processing. So this video is going to be instructional. It's about tape specifically, and how a tape machine works and how audio is recorded on the tape. So I'm going to switch over to the other camera here and just show you our tape machine, and I'll be back in 1 sec. Alright guys, so what we got here is an Akai tape machine. It's a really small tape machine. It's only a 3-track machine. 2-track actually, but it's it's got all the same main parts as a larger 2-inch machine, like a Studer or an Otari machine. So basically, we're just going to go through some of the parts here. This is your main reel. This is where you would store everything, and when you take it off, all the tape would be on this. This is your take-up reel. This is just to pull everything through the tape machine here. This thing here, that's your flutter arm. What that does is it makes sure there's consistent tension throughout the tape as it's going over the head. It moves around, you can see, like that, and it would do that automatically, obviously, if it were working correctly. You have your pinch roller, which is this rubber roller right here, and there's something really similar to that in an old cassette player. And this should be going through here. This is your cap stand. Now, part of the cap stand is missing. There'd be a piece that would push against the tape here, against the pinch roller, but that's missing. But if you turn this, you can feel that it's hooked up to a motor, and it actually feeds the tape back through the machine. Your head is here, and then this is just for the take-up reel to pull it back into the take-up reel. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to move it on down so you guys can see the heads in the machine. Alright guys, so when we're talking about analog tape, we're talking about flexivity and nanowebers. On tape, things are recorded magnetically. You have negative and positive polarities, which tell the speakers what to do. Obviously, a positive electrical force on the tape would reproduce compression, and a negative force would be a rarefaction. So that's basically how tape works. Now, inside the machine here, hopefully you can see this all right. You've got two heads, and the reason you have two heads is because you need one head for reproduction and for recording, so things stay synced up. And then you need one head that's a higher fidelity head for reproduction. Now there's one of these heads is called the repro head, one of them is called the cell rep head. The cell rep head is for recording and reproduction. The repro head is just reproduction. It's really high quality. It's what you'd use for mixing or if you're listening back. So one big thing about analog that people seem to not understand or just don't really think about is that it doesn't record on a finite point like digital does. Everybody says analog is a higher fidelity. It's more accurate to the original source than digital is. And that's just not the case, because look at the head. You can see right in the middle there. Hopefully you can see it. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. You can. You can see that the tape lies across that entire piece right there. And it's about the size of your small fingernail. Now, this tape is lying across all that. I can't get it in there because this thing, well, there it goes. And it's lying across there like that, which is covering a whole lot of space on the tape. So it's not a finite point like digital is. So it means that it is not as accurate as digital. Now, whether or not that means it sounds better, it doesn't, that's up to you. But it is not as accurate, technically speaking, as digital is, because digital is a finite sample, analog is not. Alright guys, so hopefully that clarifies how analog audio is recorded to analog tape. I know there's a lot more to it than that. and if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. There's a lot of things that I could have gone off on tangents there, but that's the nuts and bolts of it. And it's a very important part of analog tape that you need to understand when you're trying to decide whether or not analog and digital sound better. So it's definitely not true that analog is more fertile, simply because of what I just showed you guys with the tape lying over the head. But anyway, guys, stay tuned, because in a week we should be doing the digital portion of this, which will be part 2. And I'm just going to kind of go over quantization, sample rates, clocking, converters, things like that. I'll talk a little bit about DSD, so you guys can understand different formats. So stay tuned for that. That ought to be pretty cool. Also, hopefully next week we're going to be doing our Pro Tools HD LE shootout. I know I've talked about that in the past, and we're really going to go deep into that. We're going to test the converters, the clocks, different sample rates. We're going to bounce something down that was mixed in each system. Well, we're going to bounce something down that was mixed in a Pro Tools HD system, bounce it down in HD, and then bounce it down in LE, see what the differences are there, and kind of talk about how LE works versus how HD works and what the difference between the two systems is. So guys, stay tuned for that. Visit us at RainKingRecording.com. Follow us on Twitter at RKRecording. And make sure you guys ask questions. We really need your input. We want to make sure you guys understand things and help you become a better engineer. So guys, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.